Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Scouting Mass. I'm your host, Richard Belford. My co-host, Alex Motok, hopefully will be joining us shortly via technology of Zoom. We have a special guest today, and that's Mr. Chris Rogers, who is the Vice President of Membership for the Western Mass Council of Scouting America. And as always, this program is brought to you by Western Mass Council of Scouting America, serving young people from actually now moving into pre-K. We'll talk about that later. Through age 21, providing character development, citizenship, and leadership training throughout the 4 counties of Western Mass. Chris, welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
I'm glad to be here.
Very good. What we do, kind of a low-key thing, we like to speak to people in the community who are involved in scouting or not, and just chat a little bit about their interest, their background, values that are important to them, what's helped them in their professional lives, training and experience, and we kind of underscore how that relates to what we're trying to do with young people in scouting. So we find a lot of the values that we try to instill in young folks in scouting are also valued or suitable for people going to any profession or trade. And we try to highlight that a little bit. So I see your bio here, but we'll cheat if you'd like to kind of introduce yourself, just a little bit about who you are, what's important to you, and whatever you want to share.
Wow. Well, I always say that the things that led me through my working career, and starting with college, and everything was guided right from the beginning through Scouts. I love the outdoors. I like scouting has been important, and I ended my career working for the council in the Boston area, the Spirit of Adventure Council, doing accounting work. But when I went to college, they said, well, what are you interested in? And when you're 17 or 17 and a half going into college, a lot of people don't know what they want to do for the rest of their life. I did choose to major in recreation, which required a lot of business courses as well. Mm-hmm. But I think that was guided because I was a scout as a youth.
Very good. Recreation management, that is an interesting degree. I'm sure some folks go into that thinking, hey, this is great. I'm going to do some canoeing and some backpacking and maybe some sports and things, but there is a heck of a lot of business. I have one of my degrees is in sports and recreation management, and it was all marketing courses, finance courses, and general, where actually business courses tailored to the sports and recreation field. So,
I did
cool.
some field work. I went into community recreation and then commercial recreation, and I worked at a ski area for a little bit, and then I did corporate recreation, and did an internship at Xerox Corporation in Rochester, New York.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about that, because I think of recreation, I think of parks, I think of camps, I think of sports facilities. Across the street, we have a playground, municipal playground. We watch softball games from the studio here. We can see them in the distance. Tell me about how that is working in a corporate recreation department, or some of the unusual or maybe not commonly known aspects of working in recreation management.
Well, Xerox Corporation was very interested in making sure that their executives were fit. So they had a facility within the building itself where during their 1-hour lunch hour they could come down and spend a half an hour, a little bit more of that, coming down and working out. They had an outdoor track. We could do measurements on them so that if they wanted to see how they were progressing with their physical fitness program, it was there. And then there was a component where they would set up some adventures where they could go out and go various places. when they weren't working. But they even went as far as to people that worked at the headquarters there didn't sign up to come down and work out, that they actually sent a letter, I remember, to their wives and said, wouldn't you like your husband or wife to be a little more physically fit?
Do you want them to live longer unless your insurance is paid up, right?
And this was all free as part of their working environment.
One of the perks of working there.
So that was a little over the top. But.
Yeah, I'd say it's a little bit. Most of my career has been in government, and then some of it in retail, as we were chatting before the show, and then in professional scouting for a little bit. But working in government, was embraced, being physically fit, not just from like a military standpoint, but our civilian folks. We had a few fitness programs. We allowed fitness time on your honor to. We didn't have a facility, so it was like, hey, if you join a local gym or a fitness club, we'll give you, I think it was 2 hours a week, and I think it moved up to 3 before I retired. And that was great. People would take advantage of that. And some people would complain about it because they were required to log into a government portal, so pretty safe and secure as far as they go, and just track their efforts.
Yeah.
And some people get so upset, like, what are you doing? You're getting into my business. And everyone's like, oh, wait a minute, you're not getting in your business. We're giving you time off to pay to do this at the facility of your choice. And depending if your timing is right, if you drop the paperwork on time, they reimburse a portion of that up to a certain amount for the fitness memberships. So wait a minute, we're paying for fitness and we're giving you the time off, and all we want to do is just give you a tool. We're not even tracking. I mean, I suppose somebody could if they want to extract the data. They weren't really concerned with that. They're trying to just keep everything on one neat portal.
Right.
They could enter their documents for reimbursement and things. But a couple of people were flipping out about that. I'm like, my gosh, your employer's giving you time off and paying you for it, paying you to do whatever you like, play tennis, handball, swim, horseback ride, whatever it was. And you're cranking off about that.
Why are you doing that?
Exactly. Enjoy it. Take advantage of this. Play the game. Do what the person that's paying the mortgage wants you to do.
Yep.
And enjoy it. So that's pretty interesting. So that's a great background. And I like to remind folks where sometimes in our minds we think of going to school and college for all these different options. Recreation management, again, you're having a lot of finance courses, business management, marketing courses.
Correct.
Business law, I'm sure, is in there, like most curriculums. And that's very transferable across other business facets. I say that having friends who have hospitality management degrees.
Yes.
People think like, oh, you're just like hotel or restaurant management. It's like, yeah, if you can manage a restaurant or hotel, you can manage a riding stable, or a retail store. The skills, the fundamentals are essentially the same.
Yep.
And it's just moving into a new environment. We see that in corporate America a lot, right? We see CEOs moving from General Motors or a large automotive corporation to a retail organization to aviation.
Yep.
They're taking those general business skills, management skills across to another area to hopefully excel in and take care of what they need to do.
So I used the accounting courses that I took, used them when I had my own business, and then at the end of my career when I worked for the Scouts as a professional scout, used them again. So you just never know.
Yeah. Very good skills. And tell me about your own business. You said I see it here, but just for our listeners and viewers.
So unlike, not unlike most people, you take an undergraduate degree, and do you actually end up in that for most of your career? That wasn't really the case. While in college, I drove and delivered pizzas for Domino's Pizza, and when I got done with school, I didn't have a job lined up, and I was offered a job as a manager of one of the pizza stores. So I decided I would jump in and see, how that would work until I got something in the recreation area. but then I never left.
Right.
So I was in the pizza business for 19 plus years, both as a store manager, then an area supervisor for a franchisee. Then I worked for the people that sponsored them, and I handled most of New York State. One franchisee had that territory. Then I worked for the corporation. Went out to Sacramento and developed the first stores for them out there. And went to Washington State and developed stores there.
Very good.
Opened stores in Hawaii.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Ended up on a store opening team. Our job was to open up a new store at $20,000 a week, which would be $1 million store. And then after all that, my father-in-law came to me and says, "What, you've been talking about opening a pizza store." He says, "How much would it cost for you to go out and do it on your own?" And I said, "Well, I really hadn't thought about it. I'm not going to borrow money from you unless I can, put a business proposal in front of you."
Right.
But being the marketing person I was, I used that offer to borrow money from my in-laws to borrow from my parents. I said, "Well, my in-laws are giving me this much.
Yeah, it's like kind of like that. Yeah.
Would you like
Go
to
ask your mother? It's okay with me if it's okay with your mom." That's a pretty good move.
But
That's
I took their money and used that as a down payment for a bank loan and opened my first pizza store in Massachusetts.
nice.
So that's what brought me back from the West Coast to Massachusetts.
Very good. So, of course, I was just kind of teasing a bit here, but you had a solid business plan. You had a track record with the organization.
Right.
You had the corporate knowledge. So, as folks know, I kind of teasing Josh around a little bit, but that's really impressive. And you were able to do that. And obviously, your backers, the in-laws and parents, knew that potential was a good investment for them and a great way to help you out. That's great. So, and you opened your first store in Eastern Mass?
Yeah, I opened it in Medford, Mass.
Medford. Okay.
in --
Okay. Nice.
I had a pretty aggressive growth plan in order to be an area franchisee. It was had to open up one store a year. So you had to use the money in your first store to finance the second one and so on.
Springboard to the next and next. Yeah.
So I when I left the company, I had four operating stores: Medford, Winchester, Somerville, Arlington, and I was about to open a store in Cambridge. But things changed, over the career. When I started with Domino's, there were about 35 stores in the chain. When I left, there was 5,800.
That's awesome.
The company changed dramatically over that period of time, and I think they lost sight of the fact that franchisees had built the company.
Right.
And we had some disagreements, and
Time to move on.
I sold the stores back to them and took another career path.
Yeah. Good for you. So that's that happens. You're right. As franchisees, in the case, that's a great way to launch and build a business, and people forget that sometimes.
It's a lot of
That's kind of like your backbone, and we see other McDonald's and other fast food or restaurant chains are set up on that same plan.
Yeah.
And I like to use that. I think we've talked about this in meetings and in just casual conversation. I like to use that talking about membership.
Sure.
With scouting and getting out. And part of how we operate in Scouting America is we do not, for the most part, we do not own and operate our scout troops or our units.
Correct.
We essentially franchise those. We call it a charter. But we are essentially franchising those to churches, civic groups, community groups, businesses that want to offer that as part of their youth outreach or youth ministry or youth programming. And we partner with them, and we're not unlike that area, support person that you had done yourself and worked with, trying to help in this case, our our owners of our troops and other scouting units, we try to help them be successful because that's just great for everybody. And we're not selling a really delicious food product, of course. We are selling character development and some life
Leadership.
skills training and leadership for young people. So we're selling an intangible because we don't really see the results of that for years. And you don't always see that. Sometimes that comes up in those news articles when you're reading about, a scout jumping into a lake to rescue somebody, or, a kid running into a burning building to save someone. You're seeing those ideals in action. When other people are like, what do we do? What do we do? Here's this young man or woman that knows what's going on. And they're able to just keep their wits about them and do something to help others. And those are extreme examples, but that's when we see the results of our efforts. Yeah. And
Well,
just those are the extreme examples. Again, we have other ones, which I'm sure you'll.
Yeah, I mean, growing scouting, is really a goal for me now that I'm in retirement, and it very much is, sales and marketing. I mean, you have to get the message to the parents who ultimately make the decision. But if you can get the kids interested in the activities that we're doing, it's an easy sell to get them to join scouting. And I have many examples of how it's changed people's lives. It might be a merit badge that they took that becomes their career. I knew a boy that took metalworking and ended up making jewelry.
Nice.
In a career, and another boy who I thought he was going to leave scouting, and then I really didn't think he was going to continue. He had an attitude problem, and then one day he comes up to me, he says, "Hey, would you fill out a recommendation, on a job application?" And I said, "Well, yeah, what is it?" He goes, "I want to be a counselor at camp." And it was like, I didn't go into too much detail. I just knew that light switch had gone on, and I was going to certainly support him. He ended up in as an EMT.
Nice.
Later on.
Yeah.
But just to see that change in him and finally see him turn himself around. But there's many, many examples of that I've seen.
I was going to say camp is one too, where you have a young person that goes to camp, not even as a counselor, but just going as a camper year after year and enjoying that and partaking in the activities, learning to really look at themselves and see what they're capable of.
Yep.
At which they're not always, there's too many, there's still a lot of negative vibes in the world, right? And people, young people can be wonderful. In some groupings, they can be cruel. And we're a safe harbor. I like to call scouting as a safe harbor for young people, where you can come in and you're not going to be judged by who you are, where you're from, whatever, any of that. You're going to come in and have a chance for a clean slate, to learn something, to contribute, to make friends, and be in a friendly environment where you're not, you don't have to keep up with any, status type of pressure, peer pressure from a school, or what's cool and what isn't. You just have fun. You get in and learn some things, what you want to learn. In most cases, the stuff you sort of have to learn is just going to be some value stuff to help you out. And I've seen it's interesting watching the changes, because you do see those kids that are a little quirky or a little, ornery, and they kind of, warm up after a while. They get a chance for, I found that working at camp, I've had some kids that were maybe, same thing, a little hard to deal with, and I would give them the assignment of make sure that everybody has something to do. Here's the duty roster. And you give them something to do, and this light goes on, as you say. We're like, oh, I'm in charge of making sure everybody does this.
Yep.
And they find quickly you can't just go in and say, you need to do this because the scout leader told me this. It's like they learn quickly. Hey, I need you to do
lead
this.
by example.
Yeah, exactly. They figure that out. And one of the funniest, I thought, things were at camp, we had about 30 kids. We had a young man who was about 17, giving these 30 scouts all piled into a latrine or an outdoor toilet at camp, showing them how to properly clean it. So it's, there's a health and safety aspect, of course, making sure it's clean. He's in there giving this lesson, and they're all piled in listening attentively, just jammed in there. Like next group, they're piling in and listening, and he's doing a demonstration with the brush and the cleaner how to clean things. I'm like, oh my God, this is it's like the silliest thing, but here's a 17-year-old teaching like 30 kids. What a great skill for him to carry on into the real world.
What's neat is the boys, as they work up through the ranks, they're required to take on leadership roles, and sometimes they're leading boys that are their same age, and then sometimes it's younger kids. But as they learn to become better leaders, or even as the troop turns over leadership, if the person before them that had that leadership role, the next guy that takes over emulates them and takes it to the next level and takes it to the next level.
Right.
And it's neat to see how troops progress in that.
Yeah.
Because we really do try and make it youth-led.
Mm-hmm.
And as leaders try and step back and let them struggle a little bit with it, as long as it's a safe environment.
Exactly.
Let them learn by example, and then when they look at you and say, hey, how do I fix this? You can give them the answer once they ask you for that.
Oh, I always enjoy that. I was a younger scout leader. I may have told this story before. My early 20s, I've got some assistant leaders who are parents who are hovering around 40, and the kids would say, hey, here's what we want to do. Mm-hmm. And my answer would be, okay, go figure it out. Tell me what you need. Go find out what materials, what the logistics are, what the cost is. Factor it out and let me know. We'll take it from there. They walk away and they go sit in their little group, and one of the parents, who are also leaders, say, why didn't you just tell them they can't do that? That's never going to work. I said, because that's not learning.
Right.
It's more important. No, that's a waste of time. I said, actually, it's not. It's better for them to sit down for 40 minutes and work through this and realize this isn't going to work. And sure enough, 45 minutes later, they come in and say, hey, you're all set? And they're like, we got to change plans. I'm like, why is that? Well, there's no way we can do this because we're not going to be able to get enough parents to drive us to this location. It's too far away, and so on and so forth. I'm like, okay, that was great. I mean, that was the lesson learned right there. These young 12, 13-year-olds figured this out, and too many times adults are quick to jump in. So you can't do that. We've all heard it. We've heard it in our own lives as youth.
Yep.
We've maybe been guilty of that at times with other roles we've had, and it's important to kind of pull your wisdom back a little bit and use a greater wisdom to say, let them learn, let them fail, or let them succeed, because surprise, sometimes they figure out something that I'm sure is not going to work, and they manage to make it happen. Mm-hmm. And again, do it safely, and that's where we're there really just to step in for a safety reason or a concern there. So that's, I agree with you. I love that. I love seeing that.
One of the things that we do now on camping trips in the West Hampton troop that we do is at the end of every monthly camping trip is take a few minutes before we leave the campsite and do the thorns and roses. What worked, what didn't work.
Right.
And gives without, they can say what they think without having someone say what they think about what they thought. They just get a chance to voice their opinion, mm-hmm. and learn from each experience.
Right.
Sometimes everything went just fine. Other times they go, geez, I wish I had, especially on winter camping trips. Yep. So.
Yeah. Constructive criticism is difficult for a lot of us. And I try to remind people, youth and adult, that you never bash the person for the job they did, the effort they put forth, because they did the best they could in most cases, and some things are beyond your control, and you don't always know how things happen. You can criticize the action or the result of that if it's constructive, if you have a way around it to make it better. But
sure.
Get it out, find out, so you're not going through this thing the next time. And obviously I had a lot of camping experiences, but I also see in your background too, aside from being a unit leader too, you've done some 4 national jamborees and a world jamboree participation as a troop leader, 3 Philmont treks, and 1 trek each for Maine High Adventure, Northern Tier, and Florida Sea Base. So that's three, four, five, six high adventure treks, 5 jamborees, just generalizing here. And for folks who aren't currently involved in scouting, national jamborees are these events that run, I think, are every 3 years now.
4.
It's 4. Is it 4 now?
Sometimes they change
It's
the
moved.
dates.
I know we lost some momentum during COVID. So every 4 years, we get together at one location. We invite scouts and troops all over the country, and even at the national ones, we have world representation as well from other scouting organizations. And then the World Jamboree is kind of like that same idea, held on a larger scale.
Yes.
Moving through different sites, different host countries. So our scouts get an opportunity at the national jamborees to interact with all kinds of great activities and interact with scouts from all over the country. And in the World Jamboree, same thing, great activities with fellow scouts from all over the world, making friends from other cultures and backgrounds, which is great. And in Philmont, and I'll let you dive into some details on these with some anecdotes, but Philmont Scout Ranch and Training Centers in northern New Mexico, and that was a gift to Scouting America back in the late 30s. And it's a working cattle ranch, a high adventure base. They do cavalcades on horseback, backcountry treks, and there's a training center for scout leaders, but also a family program. So the diehard scout leaders get to go learn stuff, and the family gets to go and have some fun horseback riding, doing ropes courses, nature hikes, crafts, and good stuff like that. And a similar thing for Maine High Adventure, the northern tier, and the Florida Sea Base. So we're hitting, the mountains and canoeing of Maine, the northern tier, a lot of canoeing, I believe, there. I've not been there. And Florida Sea Base, kind of like what it sounds, right? Scuba, snorkeling, sailing, all kinds of aquatics.
Out Island Adventure.
Yeah,
that's the one.
They take you out and they drop you off for
that's
a few
right.
days. Now it's kind of like a Survivor thing without the $1 million prize.
Yeah, right across the way is Club Med, but
but you're still on that island doing your thing. Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Nice. And so tell us about some of those experiences and some fun stories or memories.
Well, I went to the 1969 Jamboree as a youth.
Mm-hmm.
That was a memorable experience. Back then, they got around 35,000, 40,000 scouts gathered. So we went by bus all the way across the country, from central New York to Idaho. And I remember that Jamboree so vividly because that was while we were at the Jamboree, there was the first landing on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And the astronauts talked to us from the moon.
Oh, nice.
First time I'd seen a Jumbotron screen. And
that's awesome.
That, and Lady Baden-Powell,
mm-hmm.
the wife of the founder of Scouting, was there to speak to us. She was still alive.
That's fantastic.
So that started, and so when I became an adult leader, we started with things that were other than Troop Week. We started doing some high adventure. We did some canoeing in the Adirondacks. We did a multiple activity event. We went up, called it the Down East Maine trip. And then we took pictures. We always take pictures before these events, in front of a van before we left on the trip. And I looked at this picture 5 years later, and there were 13 boys that went on this trip. And I'm looking at it, I'm going, oh my goodness. Out of those 13 kids that we took on this trip, canoeing, 9 of them made Eagle Scout. And I said, that is the formula. You keep the kids interested through the high adventure, so that they're doing something besides the ordinary, mm-hmm. and it changes their lives, and they want to stay in the program. So then I said, well, every year we're going to plan something. So we started putting our sights on the different places that the Scouts operate, both in Ely, Minnesota, where the canoe base is, Philmont, and then Florida Sea Base. Of those trips, I think the Scout Ranch changed me the most, because it's an adventure, but it challenges you physically upon anything else. And it's 10 days on the trail out in the wilderness. You might pass another crew. I mean, there's thousands of scouts that are out there at one time, but you're out there in the wilderness, and you have to check in at the rangers' stations along the way, and they radio down to base that you've made it, at this point. They're moving little magnets around on the board.
Sure. They're tracking
so
their folks and making sure everyone's safe,
But
but you're doing it on your own.
you may go for hours or most of a day without seeing any other scouts.
Wow. Yeah.
And so, then you begin to look at things and say, well, you start to not like so much car camping, where you drive up to the campsite and unload your gear. You go, where's the hike in?
Right.
Just bring in the stuff that you really need instead of
Making 2 trips back to the
and
truck for
packing it
everything.
properly.
Yeah. Right. 'Cause
So,
you're carrying it all. You're carrying
thinking about the weight and the food and just that adventure part of it.
Nice.
So, well, I'm going to a jamboree again.
Yes.
Most of the jamborees I've been to, I did the first one as a youth, but 4 others I've done as a scout leader. Most of them as the lead scoutmaster, where you take 40 boys for 10 days down at the jamboree. Then I did a world jamboree, but this summer I'm going back. I got talked into it. I'm going to go on staff this
Right.
time.
So you're not going with a group of kids. This time
Right.
you're in a support role.
Right.
For listeners who haven't been there. So tell us where you'll be working, what you'll be doing.
I'm going to be working, believe it or not, in food service, executive dining.
If only you had experience in that field. That
But
sounds great.
I found out, it's catered. So
Right.
my job is pretty simple. Fill the coffee machine, the lemonade machine, talk to the people that come through the tent that are working there about what's going on, and letting them, just being conversationalist. But it's not going to be heavy lifting, so I'm going to have a lot of free time on my hands.
Nice.
So I'll probably end up down at the Merit Badge Midway, helping a friend, scouter that's working one of the stations there. And just further exploring the jamboree.
Yeah, you have a chance to kind of really wander around.
So my
right?
shift will be about 5, maybe 6 hours a day. That's it.
Nice.
But
Summertime, long days, so you can get out there and kind of hike the event, walk around the event, meet some scouts, see meet some other scout
and
leaders,
of course
see
I'll
some of
visit the scouts
activities
that are
our guys,
the scouts and the other people that are on staff that are from our area,
right.
and visiting them.
Very cool. That's awesome. That's an awesome experience. So you're going back this time. So in a new role, so you've gone as a participant, you've gone as a troop leader.
Yep.
And now you're going as a staffer. So that's awesome. What's left after that? Just same thing on the world level, I think.
Well,
Yeah.
I do have, scouts like patches and
Right.
like working for things. I do have the Triple Crown award, which means I've been to 3 of the 4 high adventure bases, 4 treks. The only one I haven't done, even though I've been to the Summit Bechtel reservation where the jamboree is held now in West Virginia, it doesn't count for the Grand Slam,
Oh, okay.
which is going to all 4 for an adventure. So now
That's your next.
that's my next goal, is to talk one of the troops locally, either Southampton or West Hampton, and going down there and doing that as an adventure. Because
Nice.
there's so much to do if you do it as an adventure.
That is awesome. And one question, just trivia. I'm curious. Maine High Adventure. Did you go to that when it was a National High Adventure base, or after the fact?
After the fact.
Okay, 'cause it wasn't one of the National High Adventure bases for many years until sometime in the mid '80s, I think.
The nice thing is it's less money. It's a day trip by car or van, however you go up.
Sure.
You don't decide what you're actually going to do until you get up there and go to the logistical cabin where you tell them what you want to do, whether you want to do side treks, canoeing, whitewater canoeing, you want to see moose, you want to do freshwater clamming.
Nice. Lots of
But
options.
you go in and you tell them on the first day as part of your round robin at the base camp, and they say, well, come back after dinner, we'll give you 3 choices.
Okay, so you're kind of racking and stacking. It's like
Yeah.
signing up for classes in college.
Kind of.
Pretty much like arena scheduling, we used
Kind
to
of.
call it, right? You go in,
Yeah.
you hope I get this one.
Yeah.
Hope I get the freshwater clamming. Hope I get to see moose.
But as one of the leaders going up, I wanted to do certain things, but then I got outvoted by the scouts. They said,
course.
oh, Mr. Rogers,
You don't want to do
this
that.
is boy run.
Yeah.
So we get to say you don't.
Oh, they learned quickly.
And I went, wow.
I think I'll just go over here. Let you guys do that. And something that I'm sure you're aware of. A lot of we have a number of about right now. It's roughly about 5 scout councils in Massachusetts that serve Massachusetts
Yep.
communities. And since I think it was in the 80s, it started Mass Jam. And
Yep.
Mass Jam is a jamboree on the state level or local,
Yep.
area level, and that's been done for a number of years. I know I've heard of it since the early 80s. It was usually held in Eastern Mass, and most recently in Cape Cod. And
Yes.
the big news is 2027, we're holding another Mass Jam, but this one will be at the Eastern States Exposition Grounds.
Probably because
is.
we've maxed out the space
Spacing,
down.
yeah. It's just a growing
down in the
event.
Cape,
We've
and-
pulled our friends from Connecticut and some
Yes.
of the other neighboring states in. And this will be a big event, right? Is that
Yeah.
something that you're going to be involved with, you think? Or
I want to go.
yeah,
For sure.
Definitely.
I went to 3 that were down in the Cape and enjoyed every one of them.
very good.
Over the time I've been in scouting, there's a lot of leaders that I've met, having worked and been registered in more than one council now. So I always like to visit with all of them and see what's going on.
Another good
don't-
event. It's like a smaller version of
Yeah.
the National Jamboree, and I'd gone to a Rhode Island one as a scout.
Yeah.
Same idea. Every little troop in town showed up, and you get to meet kids from all over.
Now, my former council did one, they called it SOAR, Scouting's Outdoor Adventure on the River. We did it
Oh.
right down in Cambridge on the Charles River
Oh, very cool.
with fireworks, and they
Oh, that's nice.
had built the,
Sounds like
they actually had the world's largest Pinewood Derby track.
very
That is in
nice.
the Guinness Book of Records right now.
Oh, right now. Oh, it's still a current record.
It's
That's
still in
awesome.
there. Yep.
That's awesome.
I was on staff for that. So I don't know whether I'll go down as a participant or
Yeah.
staff, but
Yeah,
if they need staff,
I'm waiting. I'm sure our good friend John Willamine is involved with that, heavily involved, and I think he's the point of contact.
and I'm sure
He's our
they'll-
past president, and John's a great scouter, great guy, and he was recently. He will be honored next week officially with the Silver Antelope Award, which is given by territories, and there are actually the numbers are off, but there's about 13 territories across Scouting America, and he's one of I believe 3 for Council Service Territory 10, which is upstate New York, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. So kudos to John. He did
Quite
he's
an
done,
honor.
Yeah, he's done some great things over the years, and definitely well deserved. So we look forward to him being officially recognized with that, and I'm sure we'll re-recognize him at our annual dinner and meeting coming up in June. Wow. So some of our membership growth areas, right? Because we're growing. Scouting has had a challenge, as many groups have had over the past few years. The pandemic did not help us or any other organizations. And how are we bouncing back? What's some of the success stories that we're seeing, or some of the interesting goals? And I know one of them you took training recently on one of the new pilot programs that we'll be involved with. So
the Chipmunks.
Chipmunks, yeah. Now, you said that was Chipmunk Rangers? Is that what the adults?
Well, the adult, which similar to a Scoutmaster, will be called the Chipmunk Ranger.
Not Wrangler, but Ranger. Okay,
Ranger,
I think
yeah.
Wrangler would be more appropriate, but I don't know. So,
And then and then the group of scouts, which is going to be preschool, is called a scurry.
That's where the Wrangler comes in. See, somebody didn't do their homework. That's a scurry sounds appropriate for preschoolers. That's great. And
So
that's going to be
we want to
our new
prepare.
program.
Yeah, we want to prepare preschoolers for kindergarten, as everybody wants to do it. But we're going to do it, with a lot of fun games and songs, and expose them a little bit to scouting. But it's kind of a standalone program to scouting.
So I imagine at the age group, and I know this is still new, and I
Yes.
believe we were chatting a few weeks ago. You said you'd be taking training, so I'm assuming you've taken that.
Yeah,
it's kind of. It just seems in my mind with preschool, it can't be as structured.
No.
Just because of the maturity level of the youth involved, it's going to be a little loosey goosey, with just enough again for health and safety, enough rules to just kind of keep them
It'd be
slightly
one
disciplined.
parent, one chipmunk.
So it's going to be a team.
Yes.
Kind of like our lions and our tigers.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. So, and I believe that I had heard, I know it's still brand new, that we've kind of developed this either with the help or in conjunction with Scouts Canada, Scouts UK. I think they
Yes.
either have the same program or they're launching a similar one around the same time.
Yeah, I believe, I'm not sure whether they call it chipmunks or
Squirrels. I think UK has squirrels.
So
yeah.
this one has, they work themselves through a Kids Love stickers.
Right.
So it's a sticker book. And they do certain events and then they get a sticker for it. It's about 1 hour a week is the program.
Yeah, that's a classic phrase with us. Most scouters are familiar with 1 hour a week.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. That's an inside joke for scouting people. It's only 1 hour a week. Yeah.
With your family.
There you go. Oh my gosh, that sounds great. So you should be pretty excited about it. When is
Yeah.
it officially launching off for us?
Well, we're part of a pilot program. They want to receive feedback as to how it's going. We were going to be like the second tier, but apparently in checking around the council with different leaders, we possibly have 3 different units that could start up pretty quickly. So we may be moving up the timeline and starting it as we move into the summer months.
Oh, nice. Excellent.
Even though I've been promised, just like 1 hour a week, that I would not be with my current role asked to be a chipmunk ranger, but I certainly will be involved in the first couple events or meetings. And I've read through a couple of the storylines and they're still writing them. I mean,
Right.
it's being developed.
work in
It's
progress.
a pilot program.
Right. So it's still being developed. We're going to launch it to see how the reception is.
Yep.
How the turnout is, the interest, and from that point, like many pilot programs, Scouting America will decide, hey, this is a go. Let's tweak it. We'll get the feedback from the field, and we had done that. Western Mass Council. I'm very proud to say that this is our latest pilot, but
Yes.
we're a pilot council for chipmunks. We were a pilot for family troops when that was being introduced. We were a pilot for family packs a few years ago, and I think we're also a pilot, no pun intended, for Drone Explorer Post and Explorer Adventure program as well. So
I'm very excited
we've
about all
jumped
these
on
new
this.
Explorer
When
programs.
I was in your role, I previously held his position a couple of years ago, and I would jump on any pilot program because you never know what works, what kids are interested in, what pulls them into the program and gets them the exposure.
Yeah.
And I would say, let's do it. Let's give it a try.
Yeah, last night we had our emergency preparedness post meeting, and then this Saturday we have our aviation thing. And I haven't been to one of those meetings, but as I make my movement around the council and different programs, I'm going to attend that for the first time.
Okay, I may see you there because
Okay,
I missed the
that'd
last
be
one. The
great.
schedule was off, and I
Yeah.
try to pop in there every so often. And now we're kind of relaunching that, another aviation pun, relaunching that and rebuilding that post. So if you chatted with Josh Soper, our membership growth executive for Hampden County area, he was at last night's meeting, and I think we're a go. I think we're looking pretty good with actually piecing that all together with the interest from the youth. And
Yes.
and
I mean,
the
all these
adults.
programs start slow, but they build momentum
Yeah.
as we launch these, and the scouts that are involved with it talk to other scouts and say, hey, you got to see this. I mean, that's kind of how I got involved in scouting in the
Right.
first place. Was I had just recently moved from New Jersey to Central New York, and the kid up the street comes down and sees me riding my bike and says, hey, you want to be my friend? And
Yeah.
I said, yeah. I said, I don't have any friends.
Yeah, that's
and he says,
perfect.
hey, how would you like to go to a scout meeting? I said, what's that? I had no idea. He says, well, I'll come down Thursday night and we'll walk over to the elementary school and you can see what it's all about. But
And you made a bunch of new friends.
I did.
And that's great for a young person. I honestly say some of the better friends I've had in my life have been, a youth and adult, have been met through scouting. Just you run into people who, funny as an adult too, you appreciate this, though we occasionally run into people at training courses out of state or events like Philmont or Jamborees.
Yep.
And you do run into folks that somebody, you have mutual friends, or you, strange story. I don't know if I told you this. I was at something called National Camping School where we train camp directors and program directors. And there's one of our scouter people contacting me now. I'm at this National Camping School, and this gentleman comes up to me and says, hey, how you doing? I said, I'm doing okay. He said, you don't remember me, do you? I said, I'm sorry, I don't. I know we're in the same session here, but
Yep.
I don't recall you. And I said, I'm not from California. That's where the course was. I said, I'm living in Arizona. So he goes, no, I don't know you from there either. He says, you went to Philmont last year, didn't you, to the training center? I said, yes, I did. Yes, I did. I said, but you weren't in my class. We had 80 people in my class. I still think it's a record. We had 80 learners in one session, and I don't think that was way too much. It's like 3 times what you should have. And in fact, in the photo, you have to use a magnifying glass to find yourself. No lie, 8x11 photo, you got to blow it up. He wasn't in that class though. I said, no, you weren't in my class. He goes, no. And when you go to the training center, I mentioned it's a great place for scout leaders to learn things. The family has activities. Time I went, I think it's still the same. On Wednesday mornings, you have half day of classes, and Wednesday afternoon and evening you're free. So you can do stuff with your family. You can do stuff on site. You can go off site. And, we went off in the town doing something, came back, and they have this great barbecue out on the lawn. And it's Buffalo. It's a working cattle ranch. They raise bison.
Yes.
So we had the buffalo meat and all the fixins and everything there for a picnic. And after that, they had an area set up where you could walk up and have your items personalized with the brand, the cattle brand and the horse brand from the cattle ranch. And they had these staffers there.
Yep.
And so I'm walking through and being a good scout. I pulled my shoes off. I had some leather shoes.
You got to bring leather shoes.
Had those and had a nice belt. My wife had actually made it in the leathercraft shop during the week, and I had the belt on, pulled that off, and then I had a small, like a leather-bound little notebook thing I bought in the gift shop. So I pull these items out. I'm standing in line. I get there. They brand one brand of each of the shoes. They put both on the belt and both on the book. And this gentleman, back to the other story, a year later, he says, I was behind you in line at the picnic going to get the brand, and my 2 sons were there, saw you take off your shoes, and they did the same thing. They got their shoes branded after you get yours done. I'm like, that's funny, small world, and you just make these friends that it's an interesting connection. It's just a silly story about
Philmont brand, by the way, I've been told is the most recognizable brand in the world.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Even even bigger than Bonanza. You
Yeah,
know?
right. That's awesome. And those, of course, are sold if you want to buy those and brand your items for memory's sake in case you didn't get it done
I
when you
have
were
a
there.
pair of branded
Do you have
boots
the- you
that
have 'em?
made
Yeah.
2 treks until the
Yeah.
soles were
Yeah.
flapping. And
Yeah, I got a
but
sole
I didn't
flapping
throw them
on these.
away.
I have these.
I have them hanging up in the basement. My wife thinks I'm
No,
crazy.
mine I just need. You can't find a cobbler anymore. I have the soles breaking off.
Yeah.
And they weren't hiking boot. They weren't used for a trek, but they were just for the training center. And they're a nice shoe. And I'm like, gosh, I got to find a cobbler to get these sold. I tried the old super glue thing. That didn't work. So they're sitting.
No.
They're sitting there. So I can't throw these out. I get the brand. What a great memory. Just spending time there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a great facility. It's even folks who are just family members. There's so much to do. Even if you wanted to even if you're not really a super outdoors person, there's a wonderful museum and library there
Yep.
that you can get lost in. I love books and I love museums, and that was something I wanted to spend time in when I was there as well. So much to do for all interests for folks. I wholeheartedly recommend going there for anybody that would like to attend. And there are some events for Scout alumni. I believe certain weeks there are alumni events for folks who aren't necessarily currently involved.
Well, families can go out there.
You can go too, but I think
and-
there's an alumni. I believe there was an alumni week where you could just go and do stuff as alumni.
Yeah.
And I think the idea is just to kind of recharge people and get their interest going again.
You know, I've thought about it. You know, I've been there 3 times,
Yeah.
but I just want to know if I can go back and do it again.
Yeah.
Because I went on, I think it was the last trek I went on that I was there, and there was 3 generations. There was the grandfather and the son and the grandson, and they
Nice.
all went on the same trek.
That's awesome.
But I talked to the dad, and I said, how's your dad gonna do it? He goes, oh, don't worry about him.
It's
You know,
me
he's
you
80.
gotta worry about,
Yeah, he says, worry about me. But
agree
I
with
think
that.
I'm in better shape than I was back when I did my last trek, and I just, it's one of those things. It's almost like the mile swim at summer camp. I'm challenged to do these things again, things that I've done as a youth or things I've done before, and just keep myself physically fit and, challenge myself. That's what scouting's like. But to get back to friends, that friend that invited me to Scouts, I'm still friends with.
Oh, nice.
And as a matter of fact, I'm going on vacation next January with him and another Scouter friend. We've got a big house rented on the Keys, and so we're going to get together. But you make lifelong friends in Scouts. And
That's
keep 'em.
fantastic. That's a fantastic story.
My patrol leader I'm still in touch with, another Scout, and the son of my Scoutmaster in my troop as a youth lives right here in Massachusetts. I'm trying to get together with him. He's in the
Perfect.
council.
You're a good relationships guy. I've noticed that, and scouting is all about relationships.
Yep.
That's part of our membership goals. You need to build relationships because it doesn't hurt to have friends.
No.
And alumni. That's your other activity is involved with our
Side
alumni group.
activity.
Side, yeah. It's just that's the one that does the 3 hours a week. So you have the alumni group, and tell us a little about that. I know you and Nancy Rice were kind of stepping that up a few months ago, and how's that going? And tell us who that is open to, and any of the events coming up.
Well, it's not a closed group at all. It's anybody that's been touched by scouting is welcome into the group, and we've had a variety of events so far. Getting together, but we're trying to bring people back in that have fond memories of scouting and were touched by scouting to just do things. It might be a work day at camp. It might be a cookout. We celebrated at I'm trying to think of the name of the place. Bright
Ideas.
Bright
Yep,
Ideas.
right here in Westfield. Yep.
During the Super Bowl, we had a Super Bowl party there, and
And our scouting anniversary party, right? That was 116 plus the Super Bowl.
correct.
That was a good party.
Correct. So, and I know there's, going to be, we're trying to do some things this summer at summer camp as well, because we've got alumni that are great storytellers that can, tell stories at campfires. But any way that we can bring people back into the fold and, keep the legacy going.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having lunch or breakfast tomorrow with a scouter from Southampton, just trying to find the background. I haven't been come Labor Day, I'll have been in Southampton for 5 years. But I'm still learning who the people were and what makes or what has made scouting in Southampton work. We recently found, and they were missing for a little while, the Eagle plaques.
Oh, how nice.
In Southampton.
Yeah, that's
for the two troops. And
something needs to be displayed. What was that, 201 and 210?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
And, they were just lost. Mm-hmm. And I've been searching for it for 3 years. But by talking with alumni and other people with scouts, we found both of them, and we're going to be displaying them at the First Congregational Church.
Very nice.
Soon, so.
Very nice. That's awesome. It's a shame things get misplaced.
Yeah.
And it's nice to find that history.
And I'm trying to bring that back.
Provide that honor. And back to the alumni for a minute. So the alumni activities, if somebody's listening and they're interested, like, hey, I was a Cub Scout or Scout or an Explorer or Sea Scout or whatever leader, and they might want to check it out. There's no obligation. This is not a hard pressure thing.
No.
This is really just a group to say, come on out, share some stories, reconnect with some folks. Yep. I know I was at, I think the first event, that was at Bright Ideas also, and ran into some people that I did not know, but we had mutual friends again and shared similar memories of Chesterfield Scout Reservation, our former camp, and some other things. So you get a chance to get in and have some good food or some socializing time with other adults who want to swap stories. And if you want to get a little more information, we certainly can help you out in that area as well.
On the website, there is a link, and you can put your information in there, and then it'll be registered. And then as we send out emails to the group about things that are going on, mm-hmm. or questionnaires on how we can create new events, you'll be included in that.
Right. And these are adult events. These are, again, usually
Correct.
like at the Bright Ideas Brewing and some places like that.
Where you're going to do a ball game.
Right. A ball game, maybe a camp day, up at camp for,
we want
a cookout or something.
And we might have an overnight even.
That would be fantastic. And it's just a chance for folks to kind of relive the glory days a little bit, right? Have some, share stories. No obligation, no pressure. It's just come on out. You're part of the scouting family. You're an important part of it. We want you to feel you're still a part of it, and that's what it's all about. If you, again, wish to, dive in a little deeper, we can give you opportunities that fit your schedule and your time frames, but we mostly want to connect with you and just really get you back in the family.
Yeah. One of the people that came to one of the events is from Southampton, mm-hmm. and they're connected to other scouters, I found out, in Southampton, and I'm working through them to try and start a new unit at a church.
Very good.
In Holyoke. So
okay.
That's just a project that started up this week, and
perfect. I'm
hot on bringing that to a paperwork conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
So
very good. And Holyoke's one of our areas that's growing. It's just in the past 2 or 3 years we've launched Family Cub Scout Pack, and that's a little slow going on that one. We have a family scout troop. We had a boy and girl troop. We've got a family troop now, just based on low numbers. We'll be honest. We're trying to build that. We have a pretty decent Sea Scout ship there, and then we're in the process, Chris mentioned earlier, launching an emergency service Explorer post 9/11.
Correct.
And that's in progress and about ready to be launched. And that's focusing on emergency management, community emergency response team training, ham radio dispatching, things of that nature. So there's a lot of young folks who are interested in that, and that'll be coming out too. And that's open to all youth in Holyoke or actually surrounding communities, as long as you get
It
to the
is.
meetings. And
Yep.
we have somebody from, I believe, Granby coming in there, and some other folks from neighboring towns. So it's a great opportunity to get down on the ground floor with that.
Yeah, and someone who already has radio experience can learn more, but kids that just want to learn how ham radios work and the new technology, the adults that are involved with that 911 post really have a lot of experience, and that's their main hobby.
Right.
And they're just hoping they can pass on their experience to other youth. And
I'm kind of hoping that's a mutual friend of ours. I won't mention her name or anything. That's I believe adept at Morse code, and there's a bunch of adults as well as youth that would like to learn that. So we'll have to. See if
I
we
had
can
to
get
learn
her.
it as a youth.
We'll see if we'll have.
That's right,
See if
got
we can
dropped.
see if we can get her to maybe consider helping us with that, and
Sure.
that would be a great thing for them to learn. There's an interest in it with youth and adults. So that'd be a fun thing to learn, and I think I think it is a good thing to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some drop requirements from when we were scouts that don't exist, but there's so many more new ones that we would never dream of when we were young.
I think it was earlier this week, I learned that there's 8 new merit badges, different categories that are being offered. I believe that's on a
Is that the
possibly temporary.
Is that the test lab?
Yes, the
Yes,
test
the test lab. So the test lab has auctioneering, I think sewing and needlework,
dancing.
dancing. There's
Is it-
artificial intelligence. That's 4, and there's another one.
Boy,
There's a couple. There's one that hasn't shown up because we just published that in our newsletter. There is one that hit the test lab last month, and that is military service and veterans.
correct.
And I had the pleasure of being on the review committee for that to help develop the resources. And actually, I'm kind of behind because I need to get out there, and we're developing a digital resource guide for the merit badge, and I have an assignment on that I need to get on. So we segued over, and I just reminded myself I need to jump on that this weekend to get that done. So that's that one. I believe, not talking out of school, I know it's in the test lab. That one, as far as my conversations with people in the committee,
It was a STEM related.
yeah, there's a STEM one. The military one is going to hopefully be launched as permanent on November 11th
Yeah.
on Veterans Day. That's our plan. So that will be a permanent one for kids interested in military service or learning about possible careers, interviewing veterans. So there's the requirements should be out in the test lab for that as well. So I'm very happy about that being a veteran and being involved with the committee. That's
So there
a
are
fun
some
one.
things that are being modernized or
Yeah.
rethought. And
Well, I think the
to
sewing and needlework was interesting, right? Because I don't know
Right.
if you had to sew your own patches. I did not. Mom did most of them. I did some, but I could do them, and it's a good skill to have. It's a good skill to have.
It was a real hard thing as a youth
Yeah.
to come back to my mom after we had an inspection and
Right.
say, "Mom, this is an
Upside
inch
down
too
or
low
something."
or
Oh, yeah.
something," and you got to re-sew it. I mean, there was always the trade-off. I go, "How about if I take it off the uniform and then I do this chore for you while you re-sew it for me?"
That's a good way. You learn inadvertently learn some negotiation skills there that
But
paid
if
off
I
later.
if I had those sewing skills, I could have just
do it
you could have
yourself.
said, "Do it yourself."
No, I think it's a good one. There's there's obviously the basic maintenance of taking care of your clothing and the uniforms and things, but just there's some other hobbies related to that, like the needlepoint and some other crafts that men and women enjoy. I take
Absolutely.
a lot of details, so that's a new skill or hobby that can be introduced there. And I know AI, and there's something else with STEM. You're right. I'm trying to think.
It's not
It's
physics.
going to haunt me. It's going to haunt me, and we'll figure it out as soon as we go off the air.
I should have taken a picture of the.
As soon as we go off, it'll be there. But there's a lot of new ones coming out. So virtually anything a young man or woman, a young boy or girl is interested in, we have something. We have something. If they whether it's
Well, there's over
nuclear
what's the
science
number?
or health careers, it's well over 100, over 130 or 40, I think, easily. Any career or hobby. It's out there, and I think back to mine. I don't think I've done anything I did not pursue anything related. Well, actually, that's not true. So I'm trying to think of the career fields I've worked in. Probably the closest would be law. I was not a lawyer. I was a paralegal, and I worked in contracting, which is a legal field. So yeah, I guess that did kind of lead me to, and reading. That's a useful skill as well. I enjoy that as well, and it was part of my profession to research and read. So I guess so. How about you? How about some of your mirror patches? Did they lead into anything? I mean, scouting in general led you to recreation.
Well, my interest in cooking and if you can cook, on an open fire,
Yep.
you can cook at home on a stove.
Exactly. The open fire. Yeah, we didn't use stoves when we
know,
went camping.
I mean,
Off to the side, using the coals. Yeah.
I had originally wanted to go to hotel school because it was a big hotel school at Cornell University.
Right. Yeah.
And actually went and talked myself into a job in a restaurant so I could get experience and then put that on my resume, or application for college. But never did get in. But it's always been in the background, an interest. And so food and,
Yeah.
being in the pizza business and now wanting to do
Jamboree.
executive dining. But
Yeah.
I found out, hey, I lucked out. My shifts are going to be shorter than the rest. I'm going to have more fun time.
That's great. That is great. That's an important area, feeding and food service. People count on that, whether it's a restaurant, picking up, supplies at a grocery store, making food. A lot of people take that for granted. That's a great basic skill for anybody, young or old, to be able to cook your own food. I sort of chuckle, but I don't mean offense by it. They have these meal plans you see on TV, like, oh, we're going to send you a box. You just take it out, and we walk you through step by step how to make stuff, and that's okay because I'm assuming that's being marketed to somebody that really doesn't have a clue, and they need to take the baby steps to get going. I am by no means a chef. My brother is a trained chef with the military. Back at home, I can cook. Some people don't believe that, and a couple of people listening won't believe it. But I've done it years ago. A bachelor living, a friend of mine told me, another Eagle Scout. He said, "Can't eat fast food all the time. You got to start learning to cook." And he said, "You want to go out and buy this book? It's called The Joy of Cooking. It's been published for over 100 years, and it's an old standard cookbook. I think the Betty Crocker one and Joy of Cooking are like the two standards." And I bought that book. I still have it, and it explains everything. It breaks down the measurements. It does conversions. It has substitution ideas and things in it. And it's great. And I took that and I made some things that are probably very risky for a extreme novice, chef or cook, home cook, and tried stuff like just like here's a roast chicken, but I'm going to make a glaze with orange juice, and just fooling around with some stuff, and it was fun to experiment. You
Scouts love cooking on camping trips.
Yeah,
and they love challenging the other
Dutch oven.
Other patrol. Oh,
are you a Dutch oven cook?
Oh,
Tell me about some of your favorite recipes.
Oh, we've cooked whole chicken in it, and I think the best thing is that got me into camping was cooking a pie in a Dutch oven on a camping trip, especially a winter camping trip when you can stick the ice cream, right in a snowbank, keep that cold so you can have hot apple pie a la mode on a camping trip. It's like, what can be better?
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But, just different stews that you can cook in a Dutch oven. Chicken and rice, real easy.
Yeah.
Dump cake. But every year I have both the troops now doing what I used to do with my former troop in Winchester, Mass. We every November we have what's called Scouts Giving, and we go out and cook an entire Thanksgiving meal with all the fixings. Everything has to be prepared out in the woods. So from cooking the turkey in a tinfoil oven with charcoal to the pies, they all have to be assembled there. They don't have to make the pie crust, but they have to assemble all the pies out there. Mashed potatoes from scratch. They've got to have a balanced meal and have vegetables. And the stuffing, and
Very nice.
we just have a big feast, so all day long. And
Very cool. I was fascinated taking some training courses, Wood Badge, Advanced Leader Training for Scout Leaders, and we both have completed that. We're both Fox Patrol members, so that's awesome.
that's right. That's a
not
bond.
many of us around here. It's definitely a bond. And I remember watching the demonstrations they would go through, and they do like a midway, and we all got to sample things and cooking, the chicken inside of a watermelon, so you get that marinade.
Oh yeah.
And they're
haven't
doing
done
doing cooking, the food in the paper bag, that old trick. There's some little gimmicks and
The omelet in a bag.
I think it was bacon and eggs in a bag. I'm not sure. I didn't actually
Okay.
cook it, but it was done there. They made mini donuts using a biscuit mix
Yep.
and some hot oil and a paper bag with powdered sugar in it, so
Yeah.
you could coat those. And just watch. I was in awe of this stuff. They're cooking these. You're thinking you're just going to go and you're going to like fry hot dogs or something in a pan. No way. These people, these kids,
Monkey
and
bread.
adults are putting together, baked goods. They're doing desserts. They're doing, lasagnas, pizzas in a Dutch oven. They're doing, pot roast. Whatever you can think of that you
But it's
would
easy
crave.
cleanup. It's easy
Yeah.
cleanup.
Yes.
One pot. The only thing it's not good for is your hike in.
Yeah.
As I said, you know.
Nice little weight to it, but a little less weight on the way out, so that's good. They're making these gourmet meals, and there are some training courses where you get to sample these. Some events, I think that's fantastic. It's definitely not, and any parents might be tuning in here and saying, I wonder if my kids should go in Scouts. Well, guess what? They're probably going to learn to cook pretty good. And at the very least, you don't have to worry about them eating well when they're going somewhere. They're going to get a balanced meal, and they're not going to have the same old thing.
True.
It's not SpaghettiOs and hot dogs. They're having a variety of food, balanced food, delicious food.
I put the nix on ramen.
Yep.
I said,
Yep.
that's not a meal.
That doesn't count. Frozen pizzas, that's yeah. I've had those kids. They're like, "What are you doing? What's this can of Campbell's soup and hot dogs? That doesn't count."
Yeah. Expand their horizons.
Exactly. So you kind of worked into with the cooking badge, worked in your interest, worked into a couple of your careers.
Yep.
Did you do anything? I'm just curious, since you were working as an accounting person with the Spirit of Adventure Council or in some other business roles, did any of the other badges that you earned have a business, American business or salesmanship or any of those things?
Never took salesmanship. First aid. I mean, for the big treks, we did the wilderness first aid and took it to another level where you take a weekend of training for adventures that would take more than an hour for somebody to come and get you
Right.
if you ran into a thing. And
It's like a wilderness first responder,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's like
as a result, I guess I'm a fanatic. I carry a pretty extensive bunch of things for a first aid kit in my car or an emergency as a result. Again, just life skills. Let's see. I still remember the life-saving, taking the life-saving merit badge. I mean, when I did it at summer camp, and it was on Cayuga Lake, which is known for whitecaps. So we were out there doing rescues and everything else out in the lake, and it was 2 hours, Monday through Friday. That was it. But I still remember those moves and could use them to save someone's life if I needed to. Nothing's changed on that.
Yeah, a lot of that really stays with you. It's such a powerful experience.
Yes.
Whether it's life-saving or the cooking or any of the stuff, it sort of stays with you, and you're like, wow, I can pull it out. It's deep in the memory banks if needed. It kind of surfaces. It's amazing what you learn. So Eagle Scout, what were some of your favorite badges? Because I know we talked about cooking a little bit and just chatted about life-saving. Do you have any favorites that you recall? Or
All my favorites. I mean, when I went to summer camp, I had to get every merit badge that was down on the waterfront.
So you're an aquatics guy.
Yeah,
You were,
for the most part,
Cool.
So it was swimming, life-saving, small boat sailing, motorboating,
Canoeing.
Canoeing, yeah.
Canoeing,
Rowing.
rowing.
So all those skills.
Yeah.
To this day, the canoeing skills have stuck with me, and there's nothing better than a nice trek in a canoe, because all the gear is riding there,
being
you're not,
carried, yeah.
instead of on your back, except for the portaging.
Yeah.
Except for the portaging. But when I first moved out here, the troop was one of the troops, I won't mention which one, wanted to go canoeing on the Connecticut River. And I kind of nixed that real fast, because it was, have you done this? Have you done that? What's training? A wide river, a moving
Yes.
water,
Navigable
all those
waters,
things you have
yeah.
to consider from a safety aspect as a responsible adult. I asked all those questions. I said, well, I'm not going to be a part of it. And I said, you shouldn't be a part of it. And they changed their plans as a result.
That's
And-
good. It's you could do this, right? But you need to take the steps to be qualified or experienced.
Yep. So
They're just thinking ahead a little bit.
yeah, so we ended up on a lake doing pretty much the same stuff they were going to do, but in a safe environment, and had a great time. And we'll build back up to those things, but and there are sections of the Connecticut River which I know are okay, but
Right.
there's other parts that you can get out there, and if you don't have canoeing skills, you're going to get turned sideways by the
Yeah.
wind and so
You
on.
get
But-
the famous Enfield Rapids if you go across the state line.
Everything with a waterfront, yeah.
Nice. So back to membership. Any besides Chipmunks and our Explorer Post? Any personal goals? Just something you'd like to see happen with units besides obviously growth. But is there any types of units you're focusing on, or communities that we're focusing on rebuilding scouting or reintroducing scouting?
Just getting the numbers up. I don't think. I mean, there's been such an emphasis on sports that I think there's a mindset that you can't do sports and scouts, which is just not true at all.
It's not true.
I think one helps the other, and I find that the youth that are involved with scouting and other things with multiple activities are more successful in school. The ones that have youth group, at church, scouting, sports, that they're the kids that excel. And rather than just, putting your eggs in one basket, but
Absolutely.
we're competing against a lot of other activities, but we need to get the word out as to what how adding scouts to that can just help a youth, and it's a family thing as well.
Right.
And if parents aren't involved with their kids and what they're doing, instead of just sitting on the sidelines, say for a sporting event, and involved, those years are fleeting. And it's very important for you to be involved in what your kids are doing. And I've had many adults come to me and tell me that the happiest times and the closest times they ever had were the activities that they did with their son or daughter while in Scouts.
Right. And something parents need to kind of recognize. You don't always think of this. If you have a child that's 9 years old, his or her life with you is half over.
Yep.
Meaning that at 18 they're going to go off to college, move out, join the military, get a career, likely move out. They may not, but chances are they're young adults and they're not going to be as interested in being with mom and dad at that point as they were when they're younger. So it is a great time to really embrace that bond with your younger kids and do something together that he or she likes, be that scouting or what have you. But I agree that I think you can do sports and scouting. I'll get back to that. And I always wondered somewhere, somehow that became either or type thing. I don't know why. You can be in sports, and sports is great. We offer leadership training. We've talked about that a couple of times. You can get leadership in the sports team. You might be the captain or co-captain. Then again, you might not be because there's only really one or two positions there. Not everyone gets to be in student government. I ran for office in school, did not get elected to student council, but I certainly had a number of leadership experiences in scouting that I would trade for the world, and I would say gave me as much insight and experience as any other opportunity could have at that age. Being a young person, actually giving a speech and campaigning to my fellow scouts for a position and at an election and getting elected, which was a big thrill. Now I have to do this. I have to perform. This is great. I have to lead now. And I had a lot of great mentors in the adults, and that's where we come in as adult leaders to kind of guide these young people to develop that leadership ability. So your sons and daughters may not get a chance in the chess club or the garden club or the track team or whatever to be a leader, but they certainly have many more opportunities to exhibit leadership in scouting, whether it's a formal office, an appointed position, or just leading a special event or activity. And I've again, no stranger to your experience as well as a youth. I remember being 14, working on something. I had to do some community work, and I was leading the American Cancer Society neighborhood campaign as a 14-year-old. I didn't go door to door. See, I had a bunch of adults going door to door, reporting to me as a precinct captain.
Wow.
And I tallied everything as a 14-year-old.
Huh.
Seriously, I know 14-year-olds come by it honestly that would be just shocked at trying to do something like that. They're just like, oh my God, I can't do that. I'm calling up strangers doing this. And that was part of the beauty of the program. We get out of our comfort zone and we challenge ourselves, whether it's scaling, a rock face or hiking miles with all our gear on our back, passing a swim test or directing adults in a project.
Well, we get the kids outdoors.
Right.
And we do it 12 months a year.
Mm-hmm.
I think parents are beginning to realize that kids that spend too much time on with electronic, whether it's gaming or social media, there's too much of that. They need time outside, away from those things, enjoying nature, staying physically fit, learning life skills. Mm-hmm. And we'll take scouts, anytime during the year. There's no one time for joining scouts. You can join anytime during the year. And we don't, if a kid is having trouble with their homework and they can't make a meeting, that's okay. They can't make a camping trip because they have a big game in sports. Well, that's okay.
We work with that. We're flexible.
So it's what you have to give to the program. You'll get out of it.
Yeah, I found I was really inspired by my scoutmaster, and I took over the troop from him a few years later, and kept the same policy. And his policy was, if you are playing sports and you're also a scout, we understand we're not going to make you choose.
No.
We are going to ask you to show up at the meeting, before the meeting, or after the game, if the meeting's still going.
Yep.
Show up in your hockey, baseball uniform.
That's fine.
That's considered full uniform. He accepted that as full uniform for the meeting.
Yep.
You showed up, paid your dues, and picked up what was going on for the next event. So you stopped in for 10 minutes or whatever you could spare.
Yep.
Pay your dues, show up in uniform, get recorded. They marked your present for attendance purposes, and he considered that, hey, you can do both.
That's the way it should be.
And I always agreed with that. I said, you know what, you're welcoming them because they're going to come back and they're going to see that they're wanted in both organizations or both groups, mm-hmm. and they're a valuable part. And they're going to come back, and they're going to come back when they're able to and be happy about coming back, because no one tried to give them kids don't need ultimatums. They just need to enjoy life and do the things they like to do, whether it's baseball or hiking or whatever. So I agree with the outdoors, and that's something our explorers, which is traditionally career based, but that doesn't stop them from doing outdoor stuff. That's just not their main focus. So an Explorer Post can do a canoe trip if they're properly trained and acclimated. They can do a hike. At the very least, we're going to get them out to a pavilion for a picnic so they can get some fresh air once in a while. And they can bring their radios with them and do their communication stuff out in the field. That's important. Outing is part of scouting, and depending on the age level and the abilities of the youth, that can be anything from those high adventure treks to just a picnic outside at a park for little guys and gals, just to be out in fresh air and away from technology.
But our monthly events are much more diverse than I think the average family takes them on. You know, we do ice fishing, we do ice climbing, we do outdoor rock climbing, not just in a gym.
Right.
We do canoe trips. We do hikes. We do cycling trips. I'm taking the scouts to Martha's Vineyard this summer for
Very nice.
a trek.
So if you go to Martha's Vineyard and you guys are doing is a hiking trek, a bicycling trek, or
trek.
Bike. So it's a small island. You've been there
Many times.
So there's a little market, Kronig's Market. It's West Tisbury, I believe, and a friend of mine works there. And he was an explorer in Northampton years ago.
Oh, you have to write that
so
down.
I'll give you his info.
Hello.
You can say hi to Bill, and if you need somebody out there.
We don't usually go in that direction.
Yeah, but if you happen to, and so you can see that's again part of the family you meet out there too. So your troops are very diverse now. It's not, some troops are known as like a canoeing troop or aquatics troop or whatever. You guys are all over, which is good. So a lot of variety and diversity.
Well, having been a scoutmaster for many years, we would have treks or things that we would do every year, and then we had things that we'd do every 2 years or every 3 years. Bring back that thing so it wouldn't get boring. But having done all these variety of trips, I know what the kids like, So when they don't want to go out, during the winter or colder months, we've put in the Scouts Giving, the turkey roast. We do tubing events where they sit on a tube and go down it, at the parks. That's fun. We have the Klondike Derby with the sleds and the different activity
that was
stations.
a fun activity. We were out there doing some things this year up at Moses. And again, for folks, I like to kind of maybe illustrate things because not everybody here is a scout or listener, right? So Klondike Derby is an outdoor winter activity where the kids basically are dogs pulling dog sleds with all their gear and stopping at stations to earn some kind of loot or gold nuggets or points
that get counted
and get counted. They do a challenge or some kind of scouting skill they need to exhibit and demonstrate, and move along and have a good time doing it. Everyone had a blast. It's cold. This year it was very cold. I think it was close to 8 degrees or something. But you didn't really notice. Everyone's bundled up. There's hot chocolate and coffee flowing. Fires going, and people had a blast.
So I ran one of the stations at this past Klondike Derby.
Yeah, tell us, tell us where that idea came from. That was a lot of fun.
Well, I had this bowling alley that we had made for a fundraiser event for a scouter who came down with ALS. And so we raised money for ALS through 2 events using this bowling alley, as well as other things, obviously. But it was willed to me. I brought it out to Western Mass, and it came. It's 2 sections that fit together, and
it's polished wax. It's like bowling alley wood. There,
it's full size pins and then candle pin balls.
Yeah.
And so when it rolls off the platform, it rolled right in the snow and stops. But the kids would walk up and go, "What is this?" And it was just so. I just bought some paint for it. We're going to paint it up in blue and gold Cub Scout colors, and I'm going to lend it out for different events,
Yeah, that was
so
a
we can
blast.
do it more.
Yeah, Craig and I
Because no
stopped
one's
by.
ever heard of it,
I haven't heard of it. I'm like, this looks like a blast. And kids were running and having a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bonus ball too, right? Was that the
Oh yeah, the
soccer ball? or
Soccer
bonus
ball, yeah.
it was a bonus.
we just make up rules.
Just make up. Yeah, they're fun rules. It's just a good time. It's about having fun, getting outdoors, and you're doing outdoor snow bowling, and having a good time. That was great. That's a unique thing. I've never seen that. That'll probably catch on somewhere. That's awesome.
Right here.
Yeah, well, that's it. You
We'll
brought it
bring
from
it
the other
back.
council.
We'll bring
you
it
bring
back.
here.
Yeah.
Bring it back, and for sure. Yeah, I don't know if anything else you want to share with us. Again, your background, Eagle Scout, National Jamboree as a youth, and maintaining lifelong friendships. That's awesome. Taking those cooking skills and the aquatic skills into your volunteer work and your profession.
Yeah.
And couple successful business careers, and you're lending your expertise to us here at Western Mass Council, and we truly appreciate that and your efforts and your vision. And that's going to help us here in growing membership. We've got a great program. We have many great programs for kids, and it's just getting the word out and letting the parents know we're still around, we're still strong, and we're still doing good things for your kids. And we want you to bring them down. And we're flexible. This is not necessarily the same as it was if you were a scout, where you've got to be there every Tuesday afternoon at 3 to 4. We've got many troops and packs and organizations that meet different days of the week, weekends, afternoons, nights, different times, and we can find something to fit your family's needs and your child's needs.
Yeah. And we're growing. I look at the statistics every week.
Mm-hmm. We do have growth.
And we have growth. We have the best growth in the last 5 years for the beginning of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, like I said, you can join any time of the year. When school starts, that is a big, August, end of the summer, September, October. Those are big months. But to have growth in some of the slower months in January and the mid-school year is a figure that I'm, proud of. It seems like we're doing the right thing. We're getting the word out.
Right.
We're trying to be visible and doing things. And that's hard for scouts, being visible. We're not out there on the ball field.
Right.
We're out in the woods camping.
Right.
Some of our sponsoring organizations, we get a room in the basement where we can store our equipment and have our meetings.
We're off doing things, and we're off out in the
But
outdoors.
that's why you don't see us. But we're active every week with meetings, and every month, at least once a month, with camping activities. And
So
what we
parents
are.
are interested in getting their kids involved. Obviously, they can go to westernmassscouting.org or Google Western Mass Scouting. They'll get to our website, and they can get some information.
well, the best way is
Be
to
a scout.
beascout.org.
Yep.
You go to that website and you put in the zip code, and it pulls up every unit that's in your immediate area. Tells you the time they meet and who to contact, and so you can contact them directly that way.
Okay, very good. If somebody doesn't have something in their immediate area, we can work with them to start something.
Which is what we're doing
Right
on
now
the,
in a few
on the
communities.
side.
Right, so we have existing units that you can join. If something is not conveniently that close, reach out still. Don't just say, oh, there's nothing here. Reach out to us at Western Mass Scouting, and we will help set something up and organize scouting in your community so your children can be involved.
Yep. We have, not all the units meet on the same night, so sometimes a neighboring community has something that's not too long of a drive, maybe 15 minutes, to where it won't conflict with your other activities. Units sometimes take a poll and they say, hey, let's start meeting on Thursdays instead of Wednesdays because that works. And when you join a unit, you don't have to join the unit that's in your community. There's no boundaries.
Sure.
So, for instance, the like Southampton has kids from Southampton, Northampton, and East Hampton currently in it, and sometimes there's 5 different towns that
Right.
send them, and sometimes it's nice to visit different units and find out where you feel, just kind of like scouting out a church or something.
And church is great. Some folks belong to a church or parish that is
Yep.
not in their community. And if they happen to have a scout troop that they charter or sponsor, that's fine. If that's in your house of worship, please join that if that works for you. Again, we can help start something closer to home if needed. Our teens seem to, a lot of them drive, so our teens seem to cross boundaries a little bit more, like with our Sea Scouts. We've got a Holyoke group where we've got kids from West Springfield and Agawam coming in, somebody from Mountain Palmer coming out to Holyoke for the Sea Scouting program. So
Because of the topic.
just the
they're gonna
topic,
learn.
and they're teens, and they drive and they can get
Yep.
themselves there. So they're like, let's go. This is a specialty topic and activity, and come on out. But our general scouting, our Cub Scout program is family, neighborhood oriented. We can bring that to you, and same with our older Scouts BSA program for middle schoolers. Yeah. We'll get it out there. I know you are. You and the executives will make it happen. I know those guys are ready, chomping at the bit to start units. So
Yeah.
ready to go.
So what started out part-time in my retirement is now
No,
full-time.
essentially full time, and the pay is the same as the part time part.
That's right.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I didn't
doesn't
get a
change. You
raise.
could double your salary, and it'll be the same. It's part of the love of volunteering, and obviously we do this because we care about the program. We're products of it. We saw the value in our own lives and with our friends, and we still see the value in children that have followed. It offers a lot to people. Virtually everybody you run into who's been a scout has fond memories of that. In fact, at Roundtable, you were at Roundtable Monday. You saw
Yes.
saw the Star Wars extravaganza there for the
Yeah, that
opening,
was-
and the guy presenting that, playing the Jedi, is Bobby Goff, who has a show here in Westfield Public Access on Thursday mornings. And he came out in the Star Wars garb for that. And he was a former scout, and he said that. And we turned to do the opening ceremony. I did the pledge. Everybody knows the Pledge of Allegiance. We did the Scout Oath and Law. His sign goes up, and he told me later, he goes, my God, it's been years. I remember that word for word. I remember them both. I'm like, it's in your blood. It doesn't leave you. The values don't leave you because you might have left the program.
I have a perfect example of that. Before I came here, I'm getting ready to come to the studio here today, and the doorbell rings, and it's somebody who, wants to sell me something.
Yep.
He starts right in, but I'm dressed for today
Right.
in my scout shirt, and he starts right in. He goes, well, I was a scout. He goes, and he sold me
Yeah, put me
to
down for
change
6. Yeah.
companies because he was an Eagle Scout,
Yeah.
and he recited the Scout Oath and Law for
He
me
proved it to you.
right
Yeah,
there
yeah.
on the porch. I said, well, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to switch to you. You won
You
me over.
sold me. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. And we run
just
into
today.
folks.
So you just never know.
You run into people like that all the time.
Because I was visible with the shirt.
Right, and that's what we're trying to do, right? We're visible, and don't hesitate to stop anybody you ever see in a scout uniform or a scout shirt and ask them about that, because we'll be more than happy to point you somewhere to
So I said,
get involved.
where did you, I tested him. Where did you become an Eagle Scout?
Right.
He says, out in Utah.
Yeah,
So now he's in this area.
very good. Hopefully you left a business card.
Oh, yeah. I said, give me your card.
Yeah, okay, we get some work for him coming up. All right.
We'll get him as an alumni.
Yeah, and we'll work him in. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why it's in his blood. It's already in his system. You
Yeah.
can't shake it, folks. You really can't, because you can leave for a while. You kind of come back. You have so much fun
Once
with
an
it.
Eagle, always an Eagle.
You always have fun. I've left and pursued other career aspects and opportunities, and worked my way back around to as a volunteer. I don't have children in the program. I value the program. I see the benefit to others, and I firmly believe in it, and I have a blast doing it. It really is a lot of fun. So we're coming up on our 2-hour mark here in a few minutes. So
We made 2 hours?
yeah, we're almost. Yeah, we're almost there, and we'll do something we joke around. Alex didn't get to join us, so I'm sure he's bogged down with something at his employer. But we jokingly call this the lightning round. So I'll just ask you some questions. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just like personal favorites and stuff, just for fun. And I'll give you a closing word, and we'll move on. But what's your favorite movie?
All right, Cool Hand Luke.
Okay, that's a classic. That is a classic. Favorite band or artist, a musical?
Band or artist? Brandy Carlisle.
Okay. All right. Favorite sports team?
Oh, Red Sox.
Okay, you're a Red Sox guy.
I wish they were doing better this year.
That's what can you expect? We're moving back. We just hit the 2004 was great. That was like, I remember living in Arizona, hearing that. I fell asleep going out. I was at recruitment meetings with scouting and came back late, went to bed. My wife wakes me up. She goes, Red Sox won. I'm like, yeah, huh? She goes, no, they won. And just remember tears coming out of my eyes. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Unbelievable. Let's see. Favorite movie. Favorite dessert.
Dessert, apple pie.
Apple pie, classic Alamode from a snowbank.
That's
Dutch
right.
oven. Yep. Yeah. Can't be that store-bought stuff. It's got to be right here.
No, it tastes better in the woods.
And favorite meal? Do you have a favorite meal?
Lasagna.
Lasagna. Okay,
Yeah, that's easy.
Awesome. That's
I should say pizza. Since
you should. Yeah, you probably overdosed on that a little bit. Yeah, all the pizza you can eat. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Again, folks, our guest today, Chris Rogers, our Vice President of Membership for Scouting America Western Mass Council, sharing his background, his visions, goals, experiences, fun stories, an accomplished scout leader with still going strong, and is going to the Jamboree this summer, working in executive food service. So that's
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's going to be a blast. I can't wait to hear your stories when you come back, and I'll have to. I love to hear it. I know something good's going to happen. It's going to be interesting.
Already preparing for it.
Yeah.
You know? Well, do I have because I know it's going to be hot.
Yep.
There's not a lot of trees.
West Virginia,
there.
it's muggy. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're on your feet a lot. Do I have the right footwear to be standing on my feet all day? And I certainly have the gear.
Right.
Over the years, what I've accumulated.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for REI for 2 years.
Oh, there you go.
I didn't tell you that.
No, you didn't. You didn't. You
Yeah,
just
camping,
slipped that one
camping,
in.
camping climbing
equipment. Yeah.
area. Yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
That was kind of a in-between job.
We all have those, and they're usually pretty
Well,
interesting ones. Yeah.
I got to 62, and then the company got bought. And
Yeah.
I got a 6-month package, and
Yeah.
I struggled. 62 is very hard to get back in the workforce.
Yeah.
My wife says, go get a fun job.
Volunteering.
I was working there. Well,
Oh,
yeah, I
yeah,
could have
that's-
done that.
that's-
Well, I went to work for REI, and I was there within 2 weeks of her saying that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the shifts were, nights and this and that, short ones, and I was commuting into Boston.
Oh, that's
and I said,
kinda rough.
if you can give me 6-hour shifts,
Yeah.
this couldn't work it out.
Yeah.
Then the word got out that I wasn't working at REI anymore. 2 weeks later, I was working for the council, doing accounting work.
Yeah.
I said, I'll give you 2 years.
Absolutely.
I worked for 5.5 years.
Nice. And the volunteer one is the best, I think, because
Sure.
I actually retired at 62 for personal reasons, family reasons. And people say, you're going to go back to work. I'm like, why? I'm doing the volunteer work. I'm doing something I really
Right.
enjoy. Uses the same business skills, management skills I had to use, with the added benefit that if I really don't want to do something, I don't have to.
Well, you've earned the right to say no.
Right. My no is normally anything in the morning, forget about it. And from 11 onward, and I spend time at home with the dogs and just, usually sit outdoors with them and let them frolic and roam around the yard and enjoy nature. Just, no electronics, and just sit back and take in the sun and everything.
Right.
and do all my stuff mostly night and afternoon meetings. So I'm loving that, and I know you're loving what you're doing. But thanks again for making the trek
Oh, you're most
over
welcome.
here, and enjoyed chatting with you. And we'll have to have you back on here, and maybe Alex will have some questions. We'll get him next time, and we'll do that. But
Hit me with tougher
yeah,
questions.
Alex. Yeah, he doesn't hit with tough ones. He's, we try not to make it too hard. Oh, he's got a couple quirky ones he's gotten from James Lipton, I believe, from his show in the Actors Studio. He borrowed some questions he liked to use, and some of those are a little bit tougher. But yeah, it's been fun, and looking forward to continue working with you in scouting and helping it grow. That's our goal. It's what we're doing. It takes time, and again, folks, beascout.org if you have kids interested. If you're interested, Western Mass Scouting, and or if you're interested in just being an alumni and showing up in an alumni event and getting newsletters or info via email, that's also there, and
the link is right there on the
right on the Western Mass
Western Mass.
homepage.
homepage. Yep.
Okay, so we're going to
Well,
finish.
thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Loved having you. And again, we'll finish up here, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Peter, thanks very much. And you can close us out. I'll use it in my own phrase.